You're listening to the Bare Metal Cyber Prepcast, created to help you succeed in your Security Plus certification journey. Learn more at baremetalcyber.com, where additional prepcasts, books, and training materials await. Let's get started. Governance structure refers to the organized framework of committees, roles, and escalation paths that guide and oversee security decisions in an enterprise. Instead of security being managed ad hoc, governance provides a formal architecture that determines how decisions are made, who is accountable, and how conflicts are resolved. A governance structure ensures that oversight flows from operational teams all the way up to executives and boards, creating alignment between technical controls and business risk. For learners, imagine a city government. You have city councils, mayors, departments, and escalation paths for emergencies. Without that structure, decisions would be inconsistent and accountability blurred. Security governance works the same way. It provides a clear organizational backbone that makes risk management and security strategy transparent, consistent, and auditable. Within this structure, it is important to distinguish between strategic bodies and operational committees. Strategic bodies, such as the board of directors or an executive steering committee, focus on long-term risk appetite, budget allocations, and overall alignment between security and business objectives. Operational committees, like security councils or SOC governance meetings, deal with the day-to-day realities, monitoring metrics, reviewing incidents, or deciding how to prioritize patching. Both levels are essential. Without strategic bodies, operational groups lack authority and resources. Without operational groups, strategic committees lose touch with real-world risks. For learners, think of a sports team. Owners and coaches make strategic decisions about investments and direction, while the players and training staff focus on daily execution. Both layers must coordinate to achieve sustainable success. Governance roles bring the structure to life. Common positions include the Chief Information Security Officer, CISO, who provides overall vision and accountability for the program, the Security Program Manager, who drives execution of policies and projects, risk owners, who are responsible for managing specific categories of risk, control owners, who maintain and operate individual controls like firewalls or access management, and auditors, who provide independent validation that governance is functioning. Each role has unique responsibilities but must coordinate through governance structures to avoid duplication or gaps. For learners, imagine a stage production. The director shapes vision, stage managers handle logistics, actors perform roles, and critics review the final performance. Governance roles work together in the same way, each serving a function that contributes to the larger success of the program. One of the most effective tools for clarifying governance responsibilities is the RACI model: responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. Responsible means the person doing the work. Accountable is the individual ultimately answerable for the outcome. Consulted are stakeholders whose input is needed, while informed are those kept up to date. Applying RACI to governance activities eliminates confusion, ensuring each policy, control, and process has clear ownership. For learners, think of group projects in school. One student might be responsible for research, another accountable for the final submission, others consulted for expertise, and the rest informed of progress. Without this clarity, work is duplicated or ignored. RACI models make decision authority explicit and governance smooth. Delegation patterns also matter. Some governance decisions must remain centralized, such as setting enterprise-wide risk appetite or approving multi-million-dollar security investments. Others are better delegated to business units, like tailoring awareness training or managing local access rights. A healthy governance system balances central authority with local autonomy, ensuring decisions are made at the level closest to the impact without losing enterprise consistency. For learners, think of a school district. The board decides curriculum standards, but individual schools decide how to deliver lessons daily. Security governance must adopt a similar model of central strategy with local execution. Cross-functional representation is another hallmark of mature governance. Security cannot operate in isolation. Committees must include voices from legal, HR, IT, procurement, and business line leadership. Legal ensures compliance with laws. HR integrates governance into employee life cycles. IT ensures technical feasibility. Procurement enforces vendor requirements, and business units provide operational context. Without these perspectives, governance risks being too narrow or unrealistic. For learners, think of a company building a new headquarters. Architects, finance, safety officers, and business leaders all contribute, not just construction crews. Security governance requires the same diversity of voices to make balanced, effective decisions. Chartering provides structure and authority to governance committees. A governance charter should define the committee's scope, what issues it oversees, authority, what decisions it can make, membership, who participates, and cadence, how often it meets. Charters prevent mission creep and clarify decision rights. Without them, committees risk meeting without purpose or overstepping authority. For learners, think of a sports league charter. It spells out rules, membership, and authority to enforce standards. Security governance charters create the same clarity, ensuring committees know their mandate and boundaries. Meeting cadences and deliverables keep governance bodies disciplined. Monthly operations reviews may cover control health, patching metrics, and open incidents. Quarterly risk reviews bring executives together to evaluate residual risks, approve exceptions, and adjust priorities. Annual strategy planning aligns security with long-term business goals and budget cycles. Each cadence serves a different purpose, from tactical alignment to strategic direction. For learners, think of medical checkups. You may monitor vitals daily, see a doctor quarterly, and have full health exams annually. Governance follows the same pattern: frequent tactical reviews, midterm risk oversight, and annual strategic resets. Evidence and reporting lines ensure transparency from operations up to the board. Metrics such as time to patch, phishing resilience, and incident closure rates flow from SOCs to program managers, then to steering committees, and eventually to the board. Audit results and assurance findings follow the same path. This chain of evidence allows executives to make informed decisions without micromanaging, while boards can demonstrate oversight to regulators. For learners, think of government budgets. Local tax reports roll up to state budgets, which roll up to national reports. Governance evidence must cascade in the same way, ensuring visibility without overwhelming higher authorities with raw detail. Escalation criteria define when operational issues must rise to higher levels. For example, a data breach affecting customer data may trigger immediate escalation to executive steering committees and board briefings. Lesser issues like minor system outages may remain within operational councils. Clear criteria prevent over-escalation, which wastes leadership time, and under-escalation, which leaves major risks unmanaged. For learners, think of school discipline. Minor classroom disruptions are handled by teachers, but severe incidents escalate to principals or the school board. Security governance requires the same graduated approach to escalation. Conflict resolution paths are necessary for situations where business units accept risks that conflict with corporate appetite. For example, a department may wish to continue using unsupported software despite enterprise policy. Governance structures define how these conflicts are escalated, debated, and resolved, ensuring no silent acceptance of risks that threaten the enterprise. For learners, imagine a sports team where one player refuses to follow the play. Coaches must step in to resolve the conflict, not allow the individual to undermine the team. Governance provides the processes for adjudicating disagreements between local risk decisions and enterprise appetite. A practical starting exercise is to draft a one-page RACI matrix for a single control area, such as access management. List out activities like writing the policy, implementing controls, monitoring access, and remediating violations. Assign who is responsible, who is accountable, who must be consulted, and who should be informed. This simple exercise makes abstract governance tangible, showing how roles, responsibilities, and reporting flow together. For learners, it is like drawing up chore charts at home. Everyone knows their part, reducing arguments and ensuring tasks are covered. In governance, RACI charts serve the same purpose, bringing clarity and accountability to complex environments. Standing committees are the practical engines of governance, turning high-level direction into regular oversight. Common examples include the Security Steering Committee, which provides executive alignment and prioritization, the Risk Committee, which evaluates enterprise risks across business lines, the Incident Review Board, which analyzes major incidents for lessons learned and accountability, and the Policy Council, which manages policy lifecycle and ensures alignment with regulations. Each committee has a defined mandate that contributes to the larger governance ecosystem. For learners, think of these as specialized departments in a government. One handles finance, another defense, another education. No single body can manage everything. Security governance relies on standing committees to divide responsibilities logically, ensuring that every aspect of risk, policy, and oversight is covered with the right level of focus. Each committee must have a clear charter to define its authority, membership, and deliverables. A steering committee charter, for example, should state that it approves risk appetite, allocates security budgets, and reviews major program metrics. Membership might include executives from security, IT, legal, and business lines. A risk committee charter might state its authority to approve exceptions, escalate residual risks, and review the corporate risk register quarterly. These charters prevent overlap, mission creep, and ambiguity. For learners, think of sports leagues that define rules for each position and the roles of referees. Without charters, games devolve into chaos. Charters in governance keep each committee disciplined, effective, and accountable. Role continuity and succession planning protect governance structures from single points of failure. If a CISO leaves unexpectedly, who takes temporary accountability? If the risk committee chair retires, who succeeds them? Governance must anticipate turnover and ensure continuity plans exist for key positions. This prevents gaps in authority and demonstrates maturity to auditors and regulators. For learners, think of government succession laws. If the president cannot serve, the vice president steps in. Security governance must adopt similar thinking, ensuring authority and accountability remain uninterrupted, even during personnel transitions. Continuity preserves trust and ensures governance is resilient against inevitable staff changes. Governance meetings must be supported by specific artifacts that drive evidence-based discussion. Updated risk registers provide visibility into the current threat landscape. Incident summaries highlight what went wrong and what must change. Metrics dashboards present performance trends, such as time to remediate or audit closure rates. Action item lists ensure accountability for follow-ups. Without these artifacts, meetings devolve into unstructured conversation. For learners, imagine attending a school board meeting without budgets, test scores, or reports. Discussions would lack evidence and drift off topic. Governance meetings require disciplined preparation, with artifacts that turn abstract oversight into tangible, data-driven decision-making. Onboarding new committee members is another important governance function. New participants must receive background briefings, glossaries of terms, and access to past meeting minutes to get up to speed quickly. Without proper onboarding, new members may feel lost, slowing decisions, or missing context. Providing structured orientation ensures they can contribute effectively from the start. For learners, think of joining a club halfway through the year. Without explanations of rules and traditions, participation is confusing. Governance onboarding solves this problem, equipping new members with the knowledge and context they need to participate meaningfully. Committees must also decide how decisions are made, by voting or by consensus. Voting models work best when decisions are binary or urgent, such as approving or rejecting a proposed standard. Consensus models work better when long-term buy-in is critical, such as setting risk appetite or shaping policy. Each approach has trade-offs. Voting provides speed but risks alienating dissenters. Consensus builds unity but can be slow. For learners, think of families deciding where to eat dinner. A quick vote gets you fed, but consensus ensures everyone is satisfied. Governance must strike the same balance, choosing decision models appropriate to the type and impact of each choice. Approval thresholds are a way to formalize which decisions require higher-level sign-off. A governance framework may specify that any spend over $500,000 or any risk acceptance involving regulatory data requires Executive Steering Committee approval. Smaller operational changes may be delegated to program managers or councils. Clear thresholds prevent minor decisions from clogging executive time while ensuring major risks or investments receive due scrutiny. For learners, this is like a workplace expense policy. Employees can approve small purchases, but large expenditures require manager or executive authorization. Governance approval thresholds provide clarity and prevent ambiguity in decision-making authority. Documentation standards ensure governance processes are transparent and defensible. Meeting minutes should record attendees, agenda items, decisions made, and action items assigned. Decision logs should capture the rationale for major choices, creating evidence for auditors and future leaders. Public-facing policies may also be published to employees or regulators to demonstrate accountability. Without documentation, governance risks being seen as informal or symbolic. For learners, think of courtrooms. Transcripts record every statement, ensuring decisions are transparent and reviewable. Governance requires the same rigor, producing documentation that validates oversight and decisions. In some cases, external advisors or subject matter experts may be integrated into governance forums. These experts provide specialized knowledge on areas like cloud compliance, regulatory law, or threat intelligence. Their contributions help committees make informed decisions without overstretching internal expertise. However, governance must define boundaries. Advisors contribute input, but decision-making authority rests with internal members. For learners, think of expert witnesses in court. They provide knowledge but do not decide verdicts. Security governance benefits from external expertise, but must preserve internal accountability. Independent assurance functions also play a role in validating governance effectiveness. Internal audit teams or external consultants periodically review governance structures, charters, decision logs, and metrics to confirm they are operating as intended. These assurance reviews provide credibility and highlight blind spots. Without independent validation, governance risks being insular and self-congratulatory. For learners, this is like restaurant inspections. Owners may believe cleanliness standards are met, but inspectors provide independent proof. Governance requires the same outside validation to maintain trust with executives, regulators, and customers. Continuous improvement is the hallmark of mature governance. Committees should periodically conduct retrospectives, structured reviews of how meetings are conducted, whether cadence is appropriate, and whether decisions are impactful. Improvements might include adjusting meeting schedules, streamlining documentation, or redefining membership. These reviews prevent governance from stagnating and ensure it evolves alongside the organization. For learners, think of sports teams reviewing practice schedules and game strategies. Even winning teams tweak routines to stay sharp. Governance retrospectives provide the same opportunity for ongoing optimization. Ultimately, practical governance is operationalized through clear charters, defined roles, structured committees, and documented evidence. RACI models clarify responsibilities, charters define authority, and meetings generate evidence-driven outputs. Governance is not theoretical. It is an active system of people, processes, and artifacts that together provide alignment, accountability, and assurance. For learners, the takeaway is clear. Governance succeeds when it is lived through documented decisions, regular forums, and transparent reporting. Abstract structures must be grounded in practical tools and consistent discipline. Only then can governance truly serve its purpose of steering security in alignment with business priorities. Thanks for tuning in to the Bare Metal Cyber Prepcast, your trusted source for cybersecurity news and insights. Remember to subscribe at baremetalcyber.com so you never miss an update. And visit cyberauthor.me for best-selling cybersecurity books that equip you with expert knowledge. Until next time, stay secure and stay vigilant.